You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or their affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Good evening. Welcome to the first episode of Haunted Connections for 2020. I hope you've all had a great Christmas and New Year. Of course, I've got Jane with me. Hi, Jane. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well. I am good, but I am just getting rid of this tail end of this cough. I was fine all over Christmas. I kept well all over Christmas. And then New Year's Day, I just seemed to go down with this lurgy bug, and I'm just shaking the tail end of it.
You had the dreaded lurgy, like it seems like the whole country.
Everybody's had it. I thought I'd got away with it, but no. But I am good in general.
I think the whole country's had this lurgy.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
think
been
so.
bad. I thought I was dying when I had my bout, but then I'm a fella, so
yeah. So it's obviously twice as bad as
a
anybody
man gets
else,
a cold and he thinks he's dying because it's worse than a woman.
It's a good job you don't have babies, isn't it?
Well, I think if men had babies, they'd only have one.
I think the human race would have died out by now.
Oh, I think you're right. Okay, our guest tonight is someone I think most people have never heard of, but she's a good friend of ours at the centre. It's Amy Slaney. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Jane.
How are you tonight?
Not too bad, thank you. Yourselves?
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're getting back into the string of things now. Amy is known as the most patient woman in the paranormal at the minute because she is piecing together our smashed mirror at the centre.
I am, yes.
And how long have you been doing that, Amy?
Oh, it's got to be about 6 months now.
6 months.
And the rest.
So she is doing the hardest jigsaw ever. It's just a mirror. And it's about done.
It's been a labour of love.
And we've had a warning about that as well, about the mirror, piecing the mirror back. We had a demonologist in the week.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy says he doesn't recommend us putting it together because the portal's going to be bigger.
Well,
I didn't like to say
it then.
I didn't like to say that mirror wasn't the portal.
Yeah, that would be my theory. Let's test it.
Let's test it.
Let's see what we can get through.
So
that's part of the research.
That's right. So tell people a little bit about yourself, Amy.
Right, I run a team called Gap Paranormal, and I also host for Ghost Hunter Tours, the Midlands crew, and I run a Facebook page also for Haunted and Neath in Warwickshire and beyond. With my good friend Jonathan.
A busy lady.
Very busy.
That's good. So how's the Gap Paranormal going?
Well, it's taken a little bit of a back burner recently because I've been doing a lot more for Ghost Hunter Tours, but I'm hoping this year I'm going to be doing some more and get some private investigations for the team and that. So
yeah, of course. And of course, you were the first team to ever investigate HAPRC.
We were, yeah.
You were the guinea pigs.
We were the guinea pigs, yeah. It was really good, yeah. I've not left since.
Yeah. I just can't get rid of you now.
Got a camp bed in the back somewhere, haven't you?
Oh, no, tell me about it.
Amy is actually a typical example of Facebook friends because we've been friends years and years and years on Facebook. We only live 2.5, 3 miles apart, but we'd never met until we opened the centre.
No, how long has the centre been
2 years.
2 years.
In February.
Yeah. And you're trying to get rid of me ever since.
So that's a good thing about the centre. It brings people together.
Some of the people we've met have just been absolutely amazing. And a lot of the people who have become friends have become really good friends. And I think it's because you share a common interest and everybody's like-minded. And even Gary was saying earlier today that he felt it was such a good place because you can come and talk to anybody about anything and you feel safe and you don't feel ridiculed and the friendship just seems to keep growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, Amy.
Yes.
How did you get into the paranormal then?
Well, I've been into the paranormal all my life. When I was a child, I had my first paranormal experience, and I was with my sister and we were going up to bed, as children do, and we heard this noise, this like tingling noise. Anyway, we saw this cat run through a door that was shut tight, and it stood in the middle of the landing looking at us. And at the time, I didn't know the difference between a ghost and a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And that cat could see us just as much as we could see this cat.
And it was a spirit cat?
It was a spirit cat, yeah. Anyway, my mum shouts for us to get to bed, as they do. And the cat ran into the door opposite that was shut tight.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister legged it into the room it just came out of.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't stupid, I legged it downstairs. Anyway, the following morning, I did my very first paranormal investigation on my own, and I was sat at the top of the stairs at the age of 5, armed with a box of cat biscuits and a pint of milk I was stolen off the doorstep. And did that damn cat come back?
Really?
Yeah, and that cat never came back. But since then, both of my parents have seen it.
Oh, cool.
So,
Yeah, do they still live in the same house then?
not now. They've only been moved out about 7 years, but
So
They didn't see it after
they
you,
saw
then?
it after we saw it. Yeah.
Did they recognise the cat, or did?
Well, it was a solid form. I remember seeing to this day what it looks like. It was a tabby,
Mhm.
and it looked like my grandma's cat, which passed away couple of years beforehand. It was like a grey tabby, and it was in solid form.
Mhm.
Like it just, if I put my hand out, I swear I could touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So-
cool. So have you ever seen a person?
I've had lots of experiences. And once down not Drake Tunnels, it was another one. It was the one in Nottingham, Galleries of Justice.
Mhm.
I worked for a paranormal company, and I was just checking to make sure there was no guests left in the place. And you're going down from the cave and the oubliette, and you're walking up to the prison block and that. Anyway, this Ed poked around the corner, and it was a male's Ed, and he had straggly hair, shoulder length, and I went, who are you? Anyway, I ran up the stairs, he went round the corner, I got to the top of the stairs and the brick wall there.
Yeah.
So
how did you react to that? Were you scared or?
well, I weren't happy. I was more gutted that I never had my camera on me. But I've had quite a few experiences.
Yeah, that's good.
And do you find with your experiences it just sort of motivates you to do more and learn more, and
Absolutely,
and it gives you more questions? And
It certainly does. Normally, I don't have much happen to me very often, but when I do, it's normally when I'm least expecting it, and it just makes me want. It just makes me want more.
Yeah.
It just motivates you.
I think the problem we have as paranormal investigators, we always want more.
Exactly. 99.9% of the times you get nothing, but it's just that 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps you going.
You got a question for Amy?
yes.
It's-
So what would you say is your favourite location? Where have you seen the most activity? Is it?
My favourite location is here, of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Of course.
Of course.
So I live here virtually. I'm here more than anywhere else. But Galleries of Justice, I've had the most activity at. I've seen like pinpricks of light. I've been down in the cave and I've had something breathing in my ear on. But that's where I've had the most activity.
So what would you say is your best sort of piece of activity that you've ever experienced?
My favourite bit of activity was at a place called Gracedue Priory.
Oh yeah.
And
No, well.
it is a great location. Anyway, I've sat there with in the window and waiting for something to happen. Anyway, there was a couple of the team inside. Anyway, I could see this figure walking up the path, and it stood right in front of the path, and I could see he put his arm up, and I could tell it was a male, and it looked like he had jeans on, but it was a solid form. And I shouted, "Hey, who's that?" Anyway, I run to the door, and it completely disappeared, and I'm like, "Who was that? Was that any of the crew?" And everyone was accounted for, and it was just absolutely brilliant. And that again was a solid form.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Yeah, we've done the Grace Jew Priory a few times.
I love it.
I think the woods are damn
Yes.
scary.
The underneath the viaducts and
Yeah.
that, like, that's normally the best place. I've got some great photos of underneath there and some interesting evidence.
That is quite scary. I think woods are scary anyway in the dark.
Yeah, I like woods anyway because I teach forest school and that. So
Oh, because we did a live feed down there, didn't we? Just
We
two
did,
of us.
we
went
did.
out, we
It's,
went looking for the hounds from hell.
We did.
yeah.
And we have seen them before, but
We've
we
seen
didn't
them.
see them that particular night, did we?
Would you think that because there's supposed to be black cat sightings?
What was that?
I don't know. I just heard that. Did you?
I don't know. There's noise over there.
Yeah. Because they're supposed to be associated with black cat sightings
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
That we
so-
saw them, two of them,
Yeah.
and they sort of come to us, then went, didn't they?
Yeah, it is an unusual place. I did feel that there was something sort of going on underground there.
There's
Some
supposed
sort of
to be
swirling energy.
Yeah, there's supposed to be witchcraft associated with the place as well. Believe it or not.
I'm not surprised. These witches get everywhere.
I know. Tell me about it.
So, yeah, is your team equipment based? Do you use a lot of equipment, or do you just use more mediums?
Well, we do have a medium on this team. That's D. But we are more equipment based. But we like to use the equipment and use D as well. So, and if we can get them, like D's telling us where to point the camera or whatever, that's even better.
So I always think all successful teams, when you see teams working together and they utilise people's skills and knowledge and experience to their full potential, that's when the teams sort of are most successful, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there seems to be an in thing at the minute, back to basics, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Where you don't use any equipment. What's your thoughts on that?
It's not a bad thing. I'm willing to try anything once. But no, I don't mind not using anything. But I'm not the most sensitive of people, so I don't mind. Like I do walk around with a notebook on most of my investigations because if I do have any personal experience, I do like to write them down, or if anyone else captures anything, it's something to recap and write report.
I actually do think it's important for an investigator to have a pen and notebook because you forget. If you're like me, you forget.
Yes.
If something happens to me, 10 minutes later I forgot.
Yeah, I'm the same. So I do carry a notebook around, or if I have any personal experiences, or if any of the team have any experiences, or if I just need to like draw a picture of the size of the like when you're doing your base readings and that. Like I do like to know what the layout is and that. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So what's your scariest experience?
well, again, it was at the Galleries of Justice, and I was setting up a night vision camera on my own in the caves under the ground.
On your own?
On my own, while a couple of team members and that lot were in other areas. And anyway, I've got this torch in my mouth, like fiddling around in the dark with this night vision camera. And all of a sudden, like, you know when you can hear something crunching on the ground, like gravel? I didn't hear anything, but I could feel something breathing and something like a dog. And I would turn around and say, it's a big bloody dog, that is. But I had this torch in my mouth and I must have looked like a rat with it. But I spoke to a medium from the company that I worked for at that time, and he had exactly the same thing happen to him as well.
Yeah.
So it was good and he was a medium. So
I think it's really good when other people have the same experience as you at a different time in a different sort of investigation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great when people can share them experiences, I think.
Because if anyone asks me what experiences I've had at location, I'm quite happy to share what things are. Because if people share their information more, instead of hiding it close to the chest and that lot, how are we supposed to progress? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a good point. So you're quite happy sharing locations?
Yeah, I do it quite regularly.
I know you do.
I share locations with people. I share information. I share pretty much anything they ask.
Yeah. Because I'm sure that if people shared more information and we could somehow capture all that information and all the similar experiences people had, surely in the same location with the same experience, that's got to be more than coincidence, hasn't it?
Exactly.
So I think if we could get together and, capture that information somehow and get that out as evidence.
Definitely. I'm a big believer in writing diaries and that lot of stuff. The first thing people ask me, like, if they want me to go to their house to do an investigation, I'll go around there. First, I'll go meet them somewhere and interview them to make sure they've not got any medication, because sometimes medication can affect things and that. And then I'll ask them to write a diary of things that have happened, the date, the time, what's happened, who were they with when it happened, and all different manners, and just to get a picture of whether it's because of the paranormal activity centred around a person, or on the flip side, this stuff only happen when a certain person's there and they could be faking it.
Yeah.
So it's just to get information and
build up a picture.
Yeah, build up a bigger picture.
Yeah. So, because Ghost on Tours takes guests, don't they?
They do, yes.
Have you had any guests who are blatantly faking things like a Ouija board or?
I wouldn't like to say that they have, because a lot of our guests do genuinely believe that there's something happening there. So I wouldn't like to say that it was, because at the end of it all, they're only faking themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's ruining it for themselves and everybody else. And I've had guests come to me and say they're faking it. It's like, well, they believe that they're doing it themselves. Like, let's come over and let's do a different one, and we'll open another board up, and then they can have their own experience.
Because we did, didn't we, when we did venues? That's why one of the reasons I stopped venues.
Yeah. I'm not a massive fan of the Ouija board because half the time, if spirits can't even read and write, especially if they're really old ones.
Yeah.
So and if they couldn't read and write in life, they ain't going to read and write in death either. So
no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we had a group who come quite regular, and they used to fake. They used to have the same person on the Ouija board no matter where we went. It did my head in, I must admit.
I only use the Ouija board when we are doing events, like my own team and that lot. We wouldn't normally use a Ouija board.
Because you kill the Ouija board anyway, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a board killer, so nothing happens when I'm on there.
If you do a Ouija board and you go on it, it stops anyway.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Sudden death.
Yeah, it is.
Because we did a sentence, didn't we, a bit ago? Your team come up.
Yeah.
As soon as you went on the board.
Yeah, it stops.
Pardon the pun, but it died.
It died, yeah.
So
I'm a board killer.
We keep you away from spirit boards or Ouija boards or whatever they want to call them.
I wouldn't touch them anyway. I don't touch them.
Of course, if anyone's listening, if you've got any questions for Amy or me or Jane, please leave a comment in the chat. I can read the chat. There's no questions so far. So, in the UK then, what location would you like to investigate if you got the opportunity?
Lindisfarne Castle.
I'd like to go there.
Because I've been there during the day and I've got a really good paranormal picture that I took there, and it's got a reflection, this spirit has, and that's how good it is. And I'd love to investigate there. Bamburgh Castle, that's another one I'd love to do. I've stayed at Chillingham Castle a few times, so I'll get kind of, we go out in the courtyard and that lot, so.
So you like the big places then?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I love a good castle.
Have you done 30 East Drive?
No.
Why?
Don't know.
Not got round to it.
Not got round to it.
So have Ghost Hunter Tours ever done 30 East Drive? I've not seen.
Do you know what? I'm not sure.
I've not seen them advertise it.
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Okay, we've got our first question from Kelly. Hi Amy, what's your thoughts around ghost apps?
Personally, I'm not a fan. Personally, I don't really use apps and that lot, especially for ghost hunting. I just think it's for entertainment only. Yeah. Personally, but on the other hand, I have used the Alice box a couple of times, and that's been quite interesting.
Yeah, so, I know Haunted Live used. They swear by the Alice box.
Yeah, that you go to certain locations and you don't even mention anything there, and it's picking up. I have had some interesting things on the Alice box, but I don't really use anything else.
I must admit, I was always dubious about these apps until I think it was our first members live feed, and Charlene and her guys came. I can't remember. It was Afterlight.
Oh, I've got that one as well. I've got that. That's on my laptop.
Charlene uses the Afterlight. Is it Afterlight?
Afterlight, I think.
Afterlight on the back stairs, and she was getting full sentences in reply to the questions we're asking.
Okay. I've got that one, but I've not actually used it yet.
I've got it on. I've bought a little tablet, and it's so small I can't read it, so I've never used it because I just can't read it with my aging eyes. But then when we carried on into the sounds room, it was just coming out gibberish again, like to me these apps normally do. But on the back stairs, it was complete sentences.
Yeah, it was good.
So that did.
Yeah, I've got that app on my laptop, but I've not actually used it yet.
So I don't know if obviously a lot of them are for entertainment.
Yeah.
But some might be
some interesting.
useful.
I think it's just a look on the night, isn't it? If you can pick up a spirit that can actually engage with that particular piece of equipment and work with it, then you'll get results. When if that spirit is compatible with that piece of technology, then you'll always get good results, won't you?
Yeah, a couple of comments. One from Kerry. You all should know my feelings on 30 East Drive. Laugh out loud. Check out the Fundamental Facts show. And Kelly says, Kerry, I'm in agreement. No true facts out there. And to be honest, been and wish I'd gone abroad for the weekend. Laugh out loud. I've been twice and I'll never go again.
I was just going to say, what are your thoughts on Thursday Strong?
You might find this hard to believe, but I am on chapter 4 of my book.
Yeah.
And in chapter 3, I do mention East Drive.
Yeah.
And some of the locations I've been throughout my time in the paranormal, I've given marks out of 10.
All right. That's interesting. And
30 East Drive is the bottom.
Is it?
I had to give it 1. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but that's your experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, not everybody has good experiences in every location.
No, exactly.
Yeah, but I've got friends who've had fantastic nights there.
Yeah, definitely.
But the main thing is you don't fall out of it. Just because you don't agree, don't fall out of it. And we're not fell out with it.
You agree to disagree.
Yeah. Kerry says, laugh out loud, I agree. It's one place I have no interest in investigating. Yeah, I'll never go back. And I admit, when East Drive beat us on the Higgy Pop Awards for Paranormal Hotspot, I could have slapped somebody.
Yeah, but it was only me here.
Yeah, no.
I nearly got a backhander.
No, Mr. Bones, I don't think Mr. Bones was there that night. Kelly says, so Amy, which do you prefer, public investigations or private investigations just for the team?
I do prefer private investigations. That's my personal opinion. I do prefer a private investigation for the team. But I do enjoy working with Ghost Hunter Tours, and I do enjoy doing the events, but I do prefer the team, private team.
Okay. John says, wouldn't go back to 30 East Drive. For me, the only good thing was it's a tick in the box and no desire to return. The only reason I would go back to 30 East Drive is the chippy down around the corner.
Yeah, you did say it was good.
The chippy round the corner they do the best chips ever. I'd have been quite happy to sit in the chip shop instead of going to the house. But hey, that's my opinion.
Absolutely.
So what's your favourite we've had this question, haven't we?
Yeah.
What's your favourite location?
Obviously this is the best location, but it was my favourite location was Galleries of Justice.
All right. Okay. Denise says hi, everyone.
I
think you know
do.
Denise.
Yeah, I know Denise. She's in my team.
Yeah, I bet Denise can tell us a few stories about you. Can't you?
Yeah, I bet she could as well. But we'll change the subject there.
Denise, if you got any juicy gossip on young Amy, spill. Yeah. Richard says, Does Amy get many private investigations throughout the year?
I've not done any private ones recently, but I've got to get my insurance sorted, and I'll be doing a few this year.
Okay. Will you keep them local around?
Hopefully, yeah.
Around us?
Yeah.
There's quite a few places around us. I can remember, probably a few years ago now, there's a famous haunted place in Nuneaton, isn't there?
Yes. Famous ghost, Lady Jane Grey.
Yeah, it's Astley Castle, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Which is now been converted. It's got the outside,
Yeah.
but inside been converted to sort of holiday lets.
It is, yeah.
And this is when I was still with Too Haunted.
This is a long time ago,
and
this was.
I actually contacted her and says how much it the whole weekend, Friday night and Saturday night. And she told me, I thought that's too expensive for me. So I contacted you, didn't I, Amy? Because I knew you lived in the night.
Right? We were going to
and you were going to have one night, and we were going to have the other night. So I messaged the woman back, and she never replied to me.
Did she not?
No.
Oh.
So, Denise says, Ghost Hunter Tours, to her knowledge, as I've never done 30th Drive.
No.
So
I didn't think they had.
So in the whole world then, where would you like to investigate?
Do you know what?
My opinion's actually changed on this one.
I quite fancy Alcatraz, but people have tried to put me off it, like saying it's not all that, but I just quite fancy being stuck on an island all night.
It's cold out there, you know.
It's all right, make a fight.
Yeah.
I always used to say the Winchester Mansion.
Oh, yeah, you did.
But since Matt went last year, and he says none of it's real, none of the furniture is true to when she was there.
Oh, right.
It's all
which one's the puzzle house over there?
Yeah, that's it, Winchester Mansion. And you're not allowed in all the areas.
No.
So I've gone off it now.
Yeah, is it Penn State Penitentiary or something like that? That's supposed to be quite good.
I'd like to go to the Island of the Dolls.
Yes, that would be quite good.
Because we deal with items. I think that'd be cool to spend the night on there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I wouldn't do it on my own.
I might just pop in for the afternoon. Don't know about spending the night.
I wouldn't do it on my own because I'm a bit of a chicken. And you know it all too well. Kelly says, what's the one thing within the paranormal that really gets on your nerves?
All the bitching. I absolutely hate all the bitching. I'm too lazy, do you know what I mean, to hold a grudge with anyone. So, like, with all this, like, bitching and that, like, I just don't like it. I do keep away from all that.
Yeah.
Do you think there's more falling out now than there was sort of a few years ago?
Well, I think because now there's the social media side and all that, like, and everyone's competing against each other, and everyone wants to be on the top spot. Let them be on the top spot. I'm just happy doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
I think what spoils it is not particularly the social media, it's the TV. Everybody, well, not everybody, these people who bitch want to be on the TV.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't think TV is all it's made out to be.
Yeah,
anyway.
No.
But I think as well on social media, people just want to get more viewers, more followers.
Yeah.
And, you know, and there comes a price where, you know, you sort of almost lose your humanity over it because you're quite prepared to cut somebody down, cut somebody up, or trash somebody, or, you know.
Exactly. And it takes all the fun out of it as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, as you know, paranormal is my, like, I love the paranormal. That's all I talk about all day, every day. Like, when I'm at work.
Yeah, you get a bit boring. Don't
I
you?
do get a bit boring. That is all I talk about. And
I love my guests.
anyway, it just does my head in when everyone just.
Yeah, but you've been in the paranormal a lot longer than me. 'Cause I'm quite a relative newbie. So have you seen it change since
it's
you've been doing it?
changed a lot. It has changed. It's getting vicious.
Yeah.
In some cases, like it's just everyone's just fighting, and it's like there's no. I know, like I'd love to say paranormal unity, but there isn't much in the field. Like I think paranormal unity is something like little pockets of groups of people, rather than the whole thing.
Yeah. I was just going to say there's sort of pockets of it here, there, and everywhere, isn't there? But there's never that total unity throughout the paranormal field.
And so I can count on one hand how many people I've fallen out with in the paranormal, like, because I'm quite easygoing. I don't
just
fall
can't be
out with
bothered.
it. No, I can't be bothered with it. Even people that have done against me, it's like, get on with it.
Yeah.
You want to do it, you do it. I can't be bothered with you.
Kerry says, I agree with that. Do what you want to do and keep doing it with credibility and integrity.
Exactly.
Which is what you do, which is what we do. I think we do anyway. Kelly says, that's because folks think there's a paranormal ladder, but there isn't. You need more than your skills, face, body, way you talk, etc. Then it becomes entertainment eventually and escapes to the real side.
Everyone's got their own journey in the paranormal. Do you know what I mean? It's your own journey, and it's what you make of it.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah.
And everybody's got their own characteristics and their own personality, and there are going to be clashes with people's friendships and things at times. But I think sometimes when you see it splattered all over Facebook and sort of over people's pages and stuff, it's just
It's when people
just
start
sad,
dragging you
really.
into it, and it's like, you don't want it. It's
No.
like, just get on with it.
And we've always said that we will stay friends with everybody and
Yeah.
not fall out with anybody if we can
Absolutely.
help it.
The worst thing is people don't say things privately.
No.
They splatter it on their Facebook wall.
Yeah.
Then people
But
get
then they
attacked.
They
Also-
become keyboard warriors in some
They
respects.
also expect all their friends to take their side. And if you don't take that particular person's side, they fall out with you anyway.
Exactly.
So, it's you can't just
Sometimes
fall
that's the
against.
lesser of the two evils.
Yeah,
It's all a bit
you
sad.
just got to let them all
Yeah.
get on with it at times.
Definitely.
Denise says everyone needs to get on. I don't think that it will happen with the whole community, but she loves working with you, Amy, on Ghost Hunter Tours and Gap. Yeah.
She's a good bird. I paid her to say that.
Yeah. That was a big backhand.
Yeah, that was a backhander.
Kelly says there's also illegal bots that send traffic to your site. So when you see a huge following, I seriously doubt that it's true reflection. That's very true, Kelly. Kelly keeps her eye on HAPR's community page, and she says there's been an influx on foreign people joining our page because I just tend to approve everybody.
Do you know what? We've had a big problem with Ghost Hunter Tours recently with an influx of people because we've advertising events, right, and then you're getting some of these people, some of these people were even from the other side of the world selling tickets, scamming people for our
Really?
events, and they're doing it to other people's events as well.
Really?
So it's something to keep an eye. They've watched a lot of them are watching events and dates and that lot,
Yeah.
and they're trying to sell tickets and saying, "Oh, we've got tickets for this event and we need to get rid of them. We'll sell them you cheap at £30." And we've had it quite a few times.
Oh, wow.
Kelly says, yeah, you have to be careful as most are scammers.
Wow.
Yeah, Kelly messaged me the other day and says she's removed quite a few.
Yeah, I have to keep going through the Haunted and Eaton site and keep checking. as well.
So what Kelly's done now is if anyone wants to join the community page, there's a question that they have to answer.
Yeah.
If they don't answer it, they don't get in.
Well, on the
Your name's
Haunted and
not down,
Eaton
you're not
page,
coming in.
on my page, where I have to accept them before they come on the page anyway. So
I just some weeks I had that many. I just approve them all.
Yeah.
I know I'm wrong doing it. So Kelly's like our security guard on.
Bless her.
Nothing gets past Kelly, I'll tell you. And Carrie says Parasearch do the same. It's a bit sad when it's like that, though,
I
isn't
know.
it? Let's
It
face it.
ruins it. It's like the minority ruins it for the majority.
Richard says, like anything in life, not everyone gets on with everyone else. Just find a group of like-minded people and get on with that you get on with, and that should be enough.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. The thing is, I firmly believe we don't agree on everything, but don't fall out over it.
No.
No, we got friends who come up here. We don't agree on demons. We don't agree on 30s Drive, but we're still mates.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's
I think it makes a big difference when you're investigating as well, because if you're with a group of people who you get on with, and you're relaxed and you're open, and everybody's sort of open, then it does give you more activity and more results. If you've got somebody in the team that's a bit down or fed up or not particularly interested, then it does put the blocks on, and
Yeah.
it does put the barriers up, and it does restrict the activity that you can get. So working with the energies and blending all those energies and people working well together does make a big difference in your investigations.
Definitely. I like to, we laugh a lot on our investigations, and you know me, I'm a bit tongue-in-cheek anyway. I'm being on my best behaviour tonight.
You're from Campbell, so excellent.
Cheers, pal.
I'm sure there's going to be a time when you and I don't agree on something.
Well, we have disagreed on things in the past, but it's like, there is a compromise there, isn't there?
Yeah.
You say no, and I compromise.
I just say, do as you're told. Kelly says, so then, what was your worst Xmas gift this year, Amy?
Oh, my worst Christmas gift. My worst one, I don't know. I didn't have any bad Christmas presents.
All good ones.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get that many.
It's all the ones you do get. You really have to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
No. Have you ever, throughout your life, had a Christmas gift and you thought, oh my God, what you bought me that for?
No.
No, God, you're lucky, girl.
Yeah. That's because I buy
What
good
about
presents.
you then, Neil? What was your worst Christmas gift?
I can't remember.
You don't want to say.
Denise says, moving swiftly on. Denise says, Saturday was prime example. We were laughing almost all night.
Yeah, we was. It was a really, really good night. Really good night.
So that was with guests. So how did the guests react to that?
Well, we had a lot of newbies in, so they didn't know what to expect. We don't know whether it was nervous laughter or what, but you just be yourselves and you just speak to them the way, you know how we get on and that lot. And I'll give you grief and you give me grief back.
Yeah,
it's like that all night, and the guests, they're joining.
So I think the guests do appreciate that more. If you're genuine and you're down to earth and you're good fun, even if you get minimal activity and they've had a good night because it's been a fun night, then they still appreciate that.
Well, when we do like the holding hands of the seance and that lot, and I always come out with my favourite one-liner: if you've got an itch, can you please use your own hand to scratch? And that builds a bit of laughter anyway. And the guests love it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if people feel that getting value for money and they've had a good time, then they'll always come back anyway.
Definitely. And it's not the same old thing all the time as well. Like, no one comes to an investigation just to be like being on a Ouija board or not. I take loads of kit with me, and I'll let the guests use my own kit. So and they get the experience. Do you know what I mean?
However, saying that, not all guests are like that, are they?
No, we've had some.
I had haunted happenings up here Friday night, and some of the guests, I could tell as soon as I walked in, I thought they're going to be hard work for that poor lady. And there was just one host, Pam, I think her name was, 10 guests. And I thought, oh, you've got your work cut out tonight with him.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah. But you've had difficult guests yourself, haven't you, at times?
Well, the worst guests I've ever had was a Sunday seance.
Yeah.
A group of 6.
Oh, I remember this.
And the second they walked through the front door, the guy says, if I knew what it was going to be, I'm to come.
Yes, I remember you telling me.
And we sat up in the tea room talking, and they were moaning, all of them were moaning, and I says, look, tell you what, I'll give you your money back, you can go, I'm not wasting my time with you, just go, because you ain't going to get out.
No, exactly.
So I kicked them all out. Kelly says, did go home. Kelly says, so have you had any guests that you've had to remove from an event due to bad behaviour?
Well, we had an event not long ago, and it was at Derby Jail, and we had to ask them to leave because they'd been drinking. So
how many guests was that? Was it one group?
There was a group of 4 guests, and they'd been drinking alcohol, so we had to ask them to leave. They weren't impressed. The one that was the most cooperative was the most reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that was the most drunk was the most cooperative and reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could smell it on them then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He couldn't even talk.
Really?
Really?
That's bad, isn't it? I think it's bad.
It is, yeah. And it I mean, fair enough if they want to drink or whatever, but it's the other side, isn't it? It's them putting other guests at risk. It's them putting your team members at risk. It's the other side of it.
And then plus we're walking to different locations as well, because Derby Jail, it's got
two locations.
Two locations. It's got Vernon Gate as well. So walking them up there, it could be a nightmare. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, spirits and spirits don't mix.
So did they try and cause any trouble then when you kicked them out?
Yeah, they did get quite argumentative, and it did affect the night.
Yeah.
No, but
so
did you bounce them out?
Did you have Willie then?
Yeah, we had the boys there.
Because Denise is saying Denise says it was bad. I was scared, thank goodness for Amy and the boys. Thinking about it, you don't need Willie, you just need Amy.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't mess with Amy, would you?
She scares me, I'll tell you. Which is a shame, because that probably spoiled the whole night. But you did have a lot of guests that night, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, yeah. We did have a few.
So you had to do something.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. I don't think we ever had drunk guests.
No, there's only that one time at Wigston House.
Oh, well, we have.
Rosie.
No, we did it. When we did venues, we had one drunk guest that happened to be Jane's daughter.
Yeah.
And when I say she was drunk, I mean
Was she
paralytic.
sitting in the corner?
No, she was. I took her down the cellar with me, and I just said to her, "Just stand there and be really quiet in the corner and don't say anything." And she did. But the other thing was, she kept just sliding down the wall. I had to keep on. I mean, bless her. I mean, did take her outside and she sobered up a bit, but she had to go and sit in the base room. Yeah.
Oh.
But the only thing that really upset me about that
I will
night,
always remember flipping his comments.
she went and bought that day. She went and bought these boots, which was £70, and because it was a works do, that's why, because they sponsor Tigers. So she went out to the Tigers all day with all her workmates. Bought these £70 boots, went out in the boots, and because they started to hurt her, she bought these pumps for a couple of quid and lost her boots.
No way!
She'd only worn for a couple of hours. Oh, she lost nearly everything that night.
Kelly says, I think I'd serve Rob sitting in the basement. It was actually funny.
It was.
You should have kicked her out, but
I've still got some photos.
we still got a cut on the video.
Yeah.
Because when I got dragged out, when I got carried down the
that was quite a cracking night, really. It was one of those nights that you just couldn't make it up. You know what I mean? God.
There was one camera shot on the base room, weren't there? As they were carrying me down the stairs or dropping me down the stairs, you saw running backwards and forwards, didn't know what to do.
Staggering backwards and forwards. Oh, what a night that was. Oh, we have had some fun.
Yeah, I don't know what to ask now.
Well, I'm going to ask Amy about her daughter, because your daughters, you have got a teenage daughter, haven't you, that seems to be following in your footsteps. Do you think she'll take up the reins and become
I don't
an
think she'll
investigator?
take over the family business, no. I'd like to think she would. No, I'd like to think that she'd get into the paranormal. I'll keep trying to push her in the right direction.
Yeah, do you think there's much scope for young people in the paranormal?
I think if they get the right guidance, I think there is. Like, if they get the right people, get involved with the right people at the right age, I think there's plenty of scope. They're the next generation.
Yeah.
So that brings us nicely on to the introduction to the paranormal for teenagers that we are having another night up here in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it the 16th?
19th.
19th.
Your daughter is booked on again.
She's on again, yeah.
Of course, we did get some flack over that, the first one.
That's all right.
But it was a damn good night, wasn't
it? It was a really good night.
Were you up that night?
I wasn't.
No, you weren't there.
I think I was away, wasn't
I had about 10 mediums that night anyway. So.
Yeah.
I wasn't a medium.
No.
I'm nowhere near a medium.
I'm not
They all
saying
came with
anything.
their children anyway, didn't they? Because I
Yeah.
think it's important that the
Yeah, the
parents stay
parents
with them.
have to stay with the
Yeah.
children.
Absolutely.
Okay, Kelly says, so how long have you been working within the field and how did you realise it was your calling?
Well, I've been interested in the paranormal since I was about 5 years old when I saw my first spirit.
That was about 60 years ago, wasn't it?
60 years ago. Not far from it. I've been working in the paranormal for about 20 years. I've been running my team for about 15, and I've been in the paranormal for about 20 years. So, but I've been into it most of my life.
That's good. Then Kelly says, I think young people need to do normal stuff first, hence why they are hesitant due to drinking and clubbing. But if the interest is there, they will come back to it.
Definitely. That's why I've not pushed Melody into it, even though I do drag her along every now and again. And that, I just wanted to get a taste for it. And she does what she wants to do at the weekend. And if she didn't want to come, she doesn't have to. So
no, I just think if the youngsters will dabble anyway, because they all watch the films, don't they?
Absolutely.
They've all seen Ouija films.
Yeah, everyone, all children, they all want to have a go at the Ouija board and all that. We'll do it in a controlled environment where people are around that can help them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Show them how to open and close the board properly. Even though we don't really get the board out with the children there, we just give them give them an idea of what happens on these investigations. And
I think children are very easily influenced, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they only need a friend to sort of tell them something, and then it's the only thing, and it's there's demons and there's all sorts involved. Because we've got a young helper up here, Evan.
Yes.
I think everybody
My second
knows
son.
Evan. Yeah, we all want to adopt him.
Yeah.
And he came up one time talking to us about his Charlie game
Yeah.
that was going around the school.
Yeah.
And he said some of the kids were sort of going really silly over it because if the pencils moved,
Yeah.
And he just wanted to know if it was real or not, didn't he?
Yeah, and we actually set it up and we actually had a go here. And when, afterwards...
I think there's a logical explanation for it.
Well, it's kids
it's
blowing
just
on
simple
it.
stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Balance and all sorts.
Yeah.
But he was saying that, if the pencils moved and some of these kids, because they all used to do it in school toilets, some of these kids would be like hysterical and start running out and doing all sorts. And I think if they've got a logical way to look at it,
absolutely,
it's with it
but
does make a big difference.
Now Evan's got a logical way.
Yeah, he's very level-headed. He's very sensible.
He is, and also he's got a lot of people that look out for him at the centre as well.
Oh,
and we all adopted him. We all love him.
And he does make fantastic demon fodder. He's the first one in when we encounter him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's not very forthcoming with the cups of green tea, though.
Do you know what? He's slacking. He really is. Even you are. Even you've made more tea than Evelyn recently.
But he did bring up a big tray of donuts on Saturday. So we'll forgive
They're
us
still
for
in the
that.
fridge, actually.
Yeah, they are.
We'll have donut after the show. Okay, Paul Rook says, don't forget, everyone, after this show, keep refreshing the page to listen to the Paranormal Concept Show. And tonight, they are speaking to the Reverend David Parry about exorcisms.
Oh, cool.
So that'd be interesting.
It will. I'll have to get home quick and listen to
that one. So, that is straight after this one in about 13 minutes or so. So once we get off, Paul will come back on and Kerry. So, any more questions?
So what have you got coming up, Amy? What's on the calendar?
Right. We have got, in February, we've got back at Gresley. We've got Ashbourne Town Hall coming up. We've got Margam Castle coming up. We're also at Wookey Hole at some point as well.
Oh, nice. Down in Somerset.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And we've got Liverpool Tunnels as well.
You're going to see the witch.
Yeah. One of the Ags. Oh, yeah.
I've never heard of that one.
The Witch of Wookey Hole.
No, Liverpool Tunnels.
Liverpool Tunnels, yeah, we've got that.
I didn't know that. Kerry says Wookey Hole is fascinating. I've never been there. I've never been in.
Have you not? It's absolutely amazing.
At that list, I've only been to Gresley, and we did that lots of times.
Yeah. It sounds
if
like
you
you're very
book on,
busy.
you get 10% off because you're a member.
ain't paid membership.
You'll have to pay full price though.
Yeah, of course. Members of Haunted Antiques get 10% discount with Ghost Hunter Tours.
Yes, they do. Yes.
And there's a few who've already
Yeah.
taken advantage of that, haven't they?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's good. So do you like Bresley? Is that one of your
Do you know
favourites?
what? I do. I don't mind it. No, it's interesting. It gets cold in there, mind you. And it's been cleaned up a hell of a lot compared to what it was.
I know last time we went, I refused to go in.
Yeah, but it's cleaned up quite nicely now, and it's a really interesting location.
Yeah, no electricity upstairs.
No electricity upstairs.
Lots of pigeons.
No, there isn't. I've not seen one pigeon.
Has he cleared them all out?
There's no pigeons in there at all. I've not seen one pigeon.
Have they fixed all the windows now then?
The windows are all boarded up and that lot.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I tell you, there's not even one bit of pigeon muck on the floor. That's how clean it is.
Well, it must have affected his pocket then.
My complaint then worked, perhaps.
Yeah.
So
Well, all the times that I've been there, it's always like I went the first time last year and it's really told you, yeah.
And it's not a bad price, is it?
No, it's not, but it's only until midnight. So
Yeah, is it 7 till midnight or something?
something like that, yeah.
I think your team can get it at 6.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be for us.
Yeah.
Denise says, Neil, it's the Williamson Hull tunnels.
The Liverpool tunnels, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We should look forward to hearing all about that.
Yeah,
one.
well, I'll be doing a little live on there once I get better.
Not from the tunnels.
Well, I'll give it a go, even if it comes off later.
You might not get reception.
No, I might not. But
Have you ever been to the True Crime Museum in Hastings?
I haven't. No, that's got a lot to do with Alistair Crowley, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was an okay night, wasn't it?
Yeah, had a good night there. Well, you got Alistair like you, didn't he?
He took a fancy to me, didn't he?
Well, Alistair
did.
Crowley's apparently has got connections to Guy's Cliff as well in Warwick.
I heard that the other
Yeah.
day.
So
Yeah.
I think I've probably told you.
You probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was born in Leamington Spa, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think he actually stayed at Guy's Cliff. And they had the film, The Last Vampire, which is a Sherlock Holmes film, and the pyrotechnics burnt it down. And that's...
What, Guy's Cliff?
Guy's Cliff, yeah, that was caused
Really?
by the pyrotechnics. That's why it burnt down.
I didn't know that.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I know there was some filming there and they burnt it down
Yeah, it was
through
called
the filming.
it
That was the filming, was it?
Yeah, The Last Vampire. It's a Sherlock Holmes film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, accidentally?
Yeah, accidentally.
I bet that cost him a few. What?
Oh, I bet it did as well.
Aren't they talking of restoring it all back to its former glory?
I think they were on about restoring it.
Yeah.
So have you been to Dudley Castle?
Yeah, I've done Dudley Castle a few times. It's a really good location.
Yeah,
It's one of my
Dudley
favourites.
Castles is still one of my favourites.
What did you experience there?
Well, the first time I investigated there, I saw a hooded black figure there, and there's about 3 or 4 of us, and we all saw it, and we didn't even notice, and then we walked through the tunnel, it's like, where did that figure go? Where did that person go? And it was like, it just looked...
Was that in the museum bit?
No, it was like, where you go through the tunnel going towards... You got the sea lions and that lot.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Oh, actually in the zoo bit?
Yeah, coming from the zoo bit up to the... And I was there when Ian Lorman did the Buried Alive and Exhumed as well.
Oh, yeah.
I did both of those.
Dudley Castle is one of my favourite locations. I would love to go back.
Yeah, I would as well.
I'm toying with the idea of having a members' night there.
That'd be good.
Oh, that would be good. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Did we get 10% off?
I'm only toying with the idea because it's fitting this idea. Yeah, we caught. Remember that? Were you there that night? We caught that face in the ruins.
Yeah. I was there.
That's cool.
Because that's where the other medium got overshadowed and I had to bring him back.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, I had to help him. But that was a good night.
Yeah, I think I'd like to go back to Dudley Castle.
Yeah.
Because it was
Dudley
actually
Castle's
the Halloween special, wasn't it? You had it on the Friday night and the Saturday night.
Yeah,
I think. They had it for 2 nights.
they actually hired us for them 2 nights.
Yeah, so so we've been to Dudley Castle quite a few times.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
this
like
is one of my favourites. And actually, Amy, remember Amy?
Yeah,
She's interested in one of our nights up here. If I can get her a bed and breakfast up here.
Yeah.
So she might come up.
Yeah, well, she can sleep over and we'll just take a corner calf.
Yeah, we'll leave her
breakfast.
in the sounds room overnight.
Starter's pretty good.
It's your first
Can't go
port
short
of
of
call,
breakfast
isn't it?
around here.
That's what I'll bring you one up most Saturdays.
You do. That's all good. Kelly says Williamson tunnels needs to be done a certain way. They ask you to do the first tunnel first, and then if you return, you can then have the second tunnel.
Okay.
But I've heard a few stories where fakery has gone in there, so I've avoided.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, me and Dee's supposed to be checking it out anyway. We're supposed to be going up there soon.
Yeah.
Just to do a recce. So hopefully.
I suppose if you're a bit aware, you'll be a bit more alert as to what's going on
See,
there.
I'll just read it again then. Needs to be done in a certain way. I think they make you do it this way.
Yeah.
Ask you to do the first tunnel first, and then if you return, you can have the second tunnel. So if you don't come back for the end of the first one, you don't get to do the second one.
Oh, right. Okay.
So what, is there still all these teams down there then that have never come back?
Then Kelly says, tell Amy from Dudley Castle to come to our booking. She can sleep there with us.
Oh, brilliant.
Nice.
Kelly also says it's only £50 for the tunnels too.
Oh, so that's all right then, swell.
50 quid.
Yeah, I didn't even know how much it cost.
Cheap as chip.
It is.
That seemed cheaper than this place.
Oh, Kelly knows their stuff, don't she?
I have the email. I told you she's my security guard on our pages.
She's brilliant, isn't she?
She. I don't know how she finds all the information out. She says, I have the email if you want it, Amy.
I think we've already.
I think
it's already
Andrew's
booked it. Yeah, we just need to do a recce there.
So is it long tunnels then?
I don't know. I've never actually been there before.
Never heard of them. See, I don't know that much.
I've only recently heard of them, so.
So also, you like finding outdoor ones, don't you?
I don't mind the outdoor locations.
You found quite a few, haven't you?
Yeah, I know.
You've got a big list.
I have got an extensive list of outdoor locations.
Because you do like the great outdoors, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Because you've got a certain hobby as well, don't you, that you enjoy doing?
Well, I teach forest school to nursery children, so I do wood carving and whittling and all that lot. So yeah, I do like doing the outdoorsy thing.
You say you're a bit handy with a knife.
I am very handy with a knife.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting because it's one of those skills that you don't see a lot of people doing these days.
No.
Whittling and carving on little bits of wood.
The thing is, if you come from Camp Hill, you have to be handy with a knife. I do apologise. I'm only joking. If anyone's listening from Camp Hill...
Yeah, we know how your jokes
Yeah, we
can
know
get
when you
people
live.
into trouble.
Some of my jokes do backfire. Mr. Bones. Kerry says, I like an outdoor location as well. Nothing better than a wood in the middle of the night.
Yes, definitely.
Not on your own, though. Denise says it's all booked from the 21st. Kelly says, can I put an order in for a wooden dragon, please?
Not that good.
Laugh out loud. Love them, I have loads in my garden. So Kelly wants a 6 foot... A life-size... No, she wants a life-size dragon.
Okay.
Okay. She's not saying anything to that one, Kelly. So, yeah. So you do all sorts of little...
Yeah, I've made
Christmas tree decorations.
Decorations, yeah. I've got a load to bring up, actually, because you wanted to sell some.
Yes, we're going to start stocking them. It's life-sized. She wants a life-sized dragon.
I'll give it a go.
What is a life-size dragon? How do we know how big a life-size dragon is?
Well, that's open to artistic license, then, isn't it? So life-size
So
dragons might
Yeah.
have been that big. No, 3 inches.
Yeah.
So you just don't know. So I was going to ask another question. Kelly says guess. You have to guess how big it is. So have you never come across a dragon yet, Jane? You haven't yet.
The way she looked at you there, I'm thinking, You might want to be careful.
I did come across an old dragon once, but I divorced.
Oh, we knew that would come in.
Sorry, the old ones.
He's here all week, folks.
The old ones are the best. Kerry says dragon energy is amazing to work with. So we're coming to...
I did see one, and I saw it flying.
Yeah.
It was too far away
Where was
for
that?
me to...
Here.
I'll tell you later.
Top secret stuff. Okay, we'll come to the end of the show because the next show's getting ready to go live. So I just want to say thanks to Amy for being our guest.
You're very welcome.
I know you're very nervous about talking, but you did very well.
But it's always a pleasure, and it's always great fun when Amy comes to see us.
She's a bit of a laugh, ain't you, girl?
Yeah, I did try.
Yeah, obviously thanks to Jane for being
Always a pleasure.
co-host.
Yeah,
And
it's just fun.
jumping in when I've run out of questions. This is like I said to Kerry earlier. We bounce off each other. I can't think what to say. I can look at you and you'll say something. So that's good. So that's it for the first show of this year. Tune in next week at the same time. We have another fantastic guest on, and that is Ben Canham, who won an award in the Higgy Pop Awards.
Yeah, it'd be great. Nice.
So we've got another one of our friends coming on, Ben Canham. So tune in, let's refresh Parasearch Radio to listen to the next show. So we're going to say goodnight and we'll see you next week.
And Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you all.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see you all soon. Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.